All right. So I am going to be working on the budgeting app again, and kind of see where we're at on the side over here. So, um, so with this, we have transactions, which are what you've actually uh, put onto your account. Then we have your spending plan, where you actually can build out your budget. So I can look at, for example, for the year, and put the stuff into the list. So I can see, for example, we have life insurance, and it comes out monthly. We've got dog food, which comes out monthly. Um, you have a baby bonus that comes in, etc. So I just threw in a bunch of different stuff to test things out and see what things look like. I have added, so with these, you basically say, I've got a thing, which is life insurance, how much it is. I can put it into a specific envelope, and I can say how it repeats. With this, I can do something custom where I can say this can be weekly on Monday and Tuesday, or Monday and Thursday, or I could say it's yearly, or whatever. So I can basically set that up. This I want to be able to work on mobile, so that's actually going to be looking at focusing on today, and that's no longer set up. So let's go through and let's do a little of the planning on this. Let me throw my paper up. Let's see if it stays connected this time. All right. So, kind of looking at this, kind of what we want to be looking at here. So when you're viewing this on the phone, I think that you're going to have something like this, where we've got where we're going to have transactions, budget, settings, something like that. And so if you go in and tap on the budget, then you're going to probably have something like this, where we're going to go to your default. Most people expect are going to have one budget that they're working with, and they might have something that's this year, next year, or something like that. So you would have default, and maybe in here you'd have settings, and this is in the new budget, spelled properly maybe. Wow. Let's try that again. Okay, and we can do default, work 2025. We're going to start planning it or something like that. And we have default selected. So what are we going to want on here? Maybe over here you can do something where this is where you'd be able to look at your envelopes. That's almost like a toggle. So with this, you can toggle between your two settings. But right now we're gonna I would come up with a good name to put the things on, your line items or whatever. I don't know what that's called right now. So we just let you toggle between your envelopes and your items. So here we probably want to put at the top that bar. I think that's kind of something you kind of always want to see. Something like that. Then you get into your actual list. So in here you would have, I don't know, life insurance. And it's inside of insurance. I don't think you're going to want all those, necessarily all those details in your. So in here we have the per month period total and the start. Something like that. And then if you tap on the row itself, so life insurance. So on here, we could then put in all the things. So we can go name. So what do we have in there? Name, amount. I'd probably put some helpers. Now we don't have the period anymore. So that's probably fine. Envelope. Etc. So the question is, do I want to have the done button down there or the done button up in we could probably do both. That wouldn't be terrible. Okay, so I think that gives us a good approach for this, for what it would look like in general. With this, we're also going to have to be making the fixing of the navigation that's showing up and kind of move that back into the tab bar at the bottom. We're also going to want to be fixing the setup on that tab bar, that way it scrolls properly. So that's pretty involved. So there's enough here that we can probably start chunking and getting into this. So let's put that off to the side. I'm going to close this since we don't need it anymore, and close that. All right. So actually, let me just check. Nothing's going on there. So let's bring back up that. All right. So we have our test project. We've got the website, and we've got it at a small size. Okay. So all right. Let's look at starting to change some of these things up a little bit then. So shouldn't be have to touch in the models at all. And let me just check. Do I have view component on here yet? I do not. So that's why I'm going to come into play. All right. So let's start chunking this up and setting it up. So all right. So what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to be wanting to put some of these into the view components just to separate them out. I know I'm going to be reusing a lot of the menu items and tab bars and that kind of stuff. So let's go through setting that up. Component. Yep. Okay. Why not? All right. Getting started. So it's going to be the view component. So it's going to bundle, add view component, and we're also going to want view component contrib. Actually, I believe that it's going to do that itself. All right, view component contrib. We're going to jump back to part 1 because this actually has a helper that does a lot of the setup for you. So what view component contrib is going to do is it's going to rearrange a few of the folders that things go to. It's going to give us some options for setting things up. But what I'm wanting to do is use it to kind of keep things a little bit nicer. I think actually this maybe just uses the default setup. Let's go to part 2. There we go. So this is using an app template, so it's going to pre-install a bunch of stuff, which is nice. So let's run that. Where do you want to store your view components? I'm going to be storing them in app, views, components. Would you like to use dry initializers? I don't. RSpec configure, do you use stimulus? Yes. Use Tailwind? Yes. I'll say yes for now. ERB. All right, let's take a look quick at what that is doing. So if we look at what this does, that just includes some stuff for the helper. For the generators, it's just going to pre-set up some stuff. And all that is pretty straightforward. So this is having the view component contrib, and I'm actually just going to move that into alphabetical order. Initializers, that's fine. This may be giving me a problem. I forget what it's supposed to be set, but that I'll have to double check. View components. This is giving me the components for the local version. So I'm going to, because I bundled stuff, I'm going to kill that, restart it. All right, and I'm going to, so with this, I want to have a tab bar. Rails G view component tab bar. Tab bar. This is creating views, tab components, tab bar component, component tab spec, system views, and that looks good. Let's just see what all these are. That's fine. Sure. I might have to kill this. I forget. That's one of the things that I do always check and I always forget how it works. So I'm not going to go. So that to me looks all good. See, we have our tab there in here. And let's just use that. So I'm going to go into here. And this is going to have render. And this is going to be the tab bar. This is just tab bar. Tab bar component. And render tab bar component. I didn't make any stupid typos, did I? Nope. There we go. All right. So, oh, tab. Right. Yeah, that would do it. Okay. Let's Rails destroy that. Let's do a tab bar. Turns out tab bar component. Let's generate, not destroy the. And we get rid of that tab. And now we've got tab bar, and we're going to not take that in. All right. And I should be seeing add tab bar template here. Perfect. All right. So, Tailwind UI. Am I not signed in? Tailwind is a CSS framework that I use, and it's not going to give us anything. So what I will do though is the navigation, probably in the nav bars, for a style that I like. All right, I'm just going to grab the code for this. And in the tab bar, throw that in. So that's giving me that. So let's now go through and get it. So we're not getting the mobile menu because you don't need that. And the drop-down menu we're not going to need. And the profile we're not going to need. to view the notifications. Really, I'm actually basically just kind of grabbing the style of that bottom bar. That's what I'm actually caring about here. So really, even at that point, why am I even grabbing any of it, to be frank? So let's just do the nav in here. Let's just take the classes. So it's doing a gray 800. All right, so that's giving us that setup. And then in here, I'm just going to do the list item with a link to what did I say? Transactions, and that's going to be so if I look at so that actually only is available once you've selected a budget. It's actually not globally there, so that's actually probably going to do a little bit of something before that. But yeah, I'm not too worried about that for right now. Let's so we're looking at budgets, show, and that's the spending plans. All right, so in here you've got a link to so we're on there, we have the transactions. I was looking at the wrong partial. All right, so let's make that into this. So I'm gonna make this current. So this there needs to actually be generalized, but I haven't really thought about kind of what that's gonna look like. So I'm gonna say current user dot, I want their budget. So budgets dot first. This is hard coded and really shouldn't be like that. So actually we can do this, current budget. So if I do that and I hop up to the controllers, and if I go to the secure controller, I can just go def current budget, and this is going to be current user dot budgets dot first. I think that should work. You don't have direct access to that in the in the view component. Right. So now we actually are not going to do that on the current user. It's going to be the current organization. And if we scroll down here, the T takes us over to the family budget. Perfect. Let's hop back over to this component. So we've got our T. Let's go to budget. So this is going to be current budget, the budget spending path. All right. And budget. All right, so those are linked up. And let's do the last one. We'll do a link to settings, and this is just going to be nothing. All right, so with that, we've got our parts. Let's put this now and actually style the sum. So I'm going to say flex. We're going to go justify around, and in each one of these we're going to go class, just text white, and text XL. We're going to clean this up, and that's the benefit of doing this in the view components, that we'll have a reasonable place to actually go through and start customizing it. So that looks good. And let's put a px of 2, let's do 4, and a py of 2. Just give it a little bit of a tabby looking spacing. That's good. And let's do a hover PG, what's that, gray 800. So let's say gray 600? I don't know. Let's actually do this. We'll do 5, 6, 7. And let's actually move that out. Actually, let's move all of this out onto the onto the link itself. And right, because it's wrapping it. So let's actually so I kind of want to do, I don't know exactly how I want. So I wanted this to have each one of them expand to a maximum, or expand full width. Yeah, I almost want to do something like give them a width, a defined full width for it. I'll think about, well, let's say something like width, I don't know, 50, and let's do a text center. Is width 50 one that works? I think maybe not. No. Let's do width 64 then. few to see what feels right. That probably is closer. Yeah, that's probably been a bit much. 245 is definitely too much. Yeah, that probably feels right. Let's block those. All right, that feels about right. So let's actually just nuke out the rest of this one that they provide. All right, so there we go. Now, what we're gonna end up doing is making a helper that we can add these easily without having to. You can make a custom link to that will let us put those in. So actually, let's get what we have right now. So with this, all right. So install view component, and in here we're scaffolding the toolbar. Now, does it go through in here? So, yeah, let's grab this. So, with this is render example component.new. It's a lot going on. So I like to throw into here component name, args, keywords, blogs. So this is going to let us change our application from being that to being that. Sorry. And actually, can we do this? Let's see if that works. Nice. So that's a lot better, a lot nicer to call that way. Okay, so now we have a tab bar at the bottom. We're going to want to make another let's put that in. So here we're going to create another, we're going to call this a title bar. And we're going to get rid of this again. And we'll be holding on to that for a minute. Test, they're fine. It's fine, that's fine. We got that there. Okay, so let's get our application. We're gonna component title bar. Great. So our title bar we have our red background to make sure it's obvious that we do update this. We're going to have another div, and this is going to have so what are we going to do? We're going to be going for in here. We're going to have our we're going to have our left actions. Title. So we have your leading or lagging inside of a flex. All right. So there's a title. So in here, we're going to do class. So this is going to be text, extra large, text, white, text, center. Okay. Let's update this to be, what was it, gray, 800. Great. All right. And this is going to be flex. Row. All right. And we're going to have a padding on the X of 2. Choose have padding 2. Great. Okay. Now, for this component, I'm going to say that we actually want to have the title. And I'm actually going to do that as a keyword. That's if you can do a title, you almost it's implied that you need a title. So now we're going to get an error on that. So we're going to put in here envelopes. That's going to obviously have to be custom. And if we look at the component, we want to echo the title. All right. And as soon as we do that, this is where I pretty much always am going to go tag.div title class. And delete the old one. All right. Okay, so we have our envelopes. All right. Actually, I didn't take a look at those. I think I like the settlest one, that one on there. So let's go back real quick and fix that. So that was 700. Okay, and let's actually make this rounded. Yeah, that feels better. All right. So let's actually go in and what was the last one I did? Yeah. All right. So for the title, we can put the title up there. We're not getting the actual title though. So this is kind of at the this is at the, so there's a few problems with this. One is that it's, if you're not logged in, it's going to blow up in your face. So there needs to probably be a, something that checks the current user, but I'm going to ignore that for just the moment. This title and the actions need to be able to be passed in, which right now it doesn't. So I'm trying to think how we want to do that. So one thing we could do is have the title bar section, and then you create the title bar so that's probably a good way to do it. So if we look at Rails content for, not content for, so if we look at this, you can do content for so what I'm going to want to be doing is, in the application, I'm going to want to do if content for title bar, then in here we're going to render out content for title bar. Else, we're going to provide that default. I thought there was a helper for this, but okay. And what I'm going to do then is then go into, so what are we on? Family budget. So in the budgets show, so for the family budget, we'll do a content for title bar we'll do a component title bar, and this is going to be at budget.name. All right, so now we get family budget here. If we go to the spending plan, it's not going to say anything there. So let's go, and they're actually going to do the exact same thing over here. Ooh. All right, perfect. Okay, so we have a title bar, and then we have content underneath, and then we have the tab bar at the bottom. So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to throw this into a div. Well, so, all right, that's good, that's good. All right. All right, so we get that. Now what I want to do is I'm going to have the title bar, then I have the content, and then the footer at the bottom. So I'm going to put that into a div to hold all of that content. And right now I'm just not even really thinking about how it is, but I want to break those into kind of those 3 sections. So if I inspect now, I get, so we get the bar at the top, flash. We get some menu-y stuff, which we'll be chopping out. More menu-y stuff. The content, and then the footer at the bottom. That's kind of what our layout is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop back over to the application. In here, okay, I'm going to do tag.div id flash do, bring that all up, and this is only going to be here if flash dot present. We've got the menu, and I'm actually just going to kill that for now. And this is going to die eventually as well, but fine, we'll keep it around. Okay. Actually, I'm going to throw this hidden. We'll come back to this. All right. So now we've got the top bar, the body, the bottom tab bar. And I wonder if I can do this easily by just coming into here. So what I'm trying to do is I want to have these be kind of sticky. So if I come in to the tab bar and I go in here and I say it's sticky and its bottom is 0. Let me just actually confirm. Yeah, utilities are the last one. So if I say it's sticky and it's on the bottom, that scrolls beautifully. And if I make the tab bar be, so if I scroll down, if I make this sticky, and I make it top 0, yeah, beautiful. All right. That is what I'm going for. My only slight hesitation on that is it'd be potentially good to pull that out into a wrapper div around it. That way the component's not actually aware of what's going on there layout-wise. So that's one thing I'd be considering. But for right now, that's probably fine. Okay. Okay. So let me think. All right. So with that, this is working well for switching between them. Okay, I think I want to put a menu toggle up here where I can click on it to review the envelopes. All right, so to do that, I'm going to need to make those action buttons into the menu. So before we do that, I'll probably just stick it into the body of it. So let's look at the spending plan. Okay, so for this, I'm going to have it so that if you, sorry about that. All right, so we're going to have a button where if you click on it, it is going to toggle it's going to toggle the kind of a slide over with the envelopes in it. Just thinking if we're going to have more flexibility to do different things, that's probably fine. Okay. So, in the spending plan show, we've got that. So we've got bank accounts, envelopes. So really this here, this whole section here is the sidebar. And that's going to be the main part. So in here, we're going to say, so we're not going to have this be flex. If you move that, you can say hidden initially. Great. And if I go in here and say, let me think, how do we want this to go? We're going to go relative. Here we're going to actually say absolute. What is it? Inset and overflow scroll. And BG white. And we'll say that's a Z of, what does that go to? Just 50? You'd probably come up with a few naming conventions for the layer, but let's take that max width off, width full, and we'll do, well actually, width full, and let's put another div in here. And this is where we'll put that class. What were you? Yeah, we don't want to have that fixed. Actually, I want to have that actually relative to this, not that one. It's at 0. All right, and actually let's go back to those components. And then we're going to put this at Z40. And I think I have to do relative. Title bar is relative Z40. Good. And when this is open, we're going to have to do something where we say something like that. I'll have to contain that scroll. I'll have to look into that off the top of my head. I'm not remembering how to do it. All right, so here we can do BG white. Okay, and for this we're actually going to do BG gray 800. Let's say 75. All right, I don't know if this should go over top of those. I'll have to think about that, but yeah, let's think about that. So that it looks reasonable. We just want to be able to toggle it now. So let me check my package. And we're not using any of the ones. So let's look at Tailwind stimulus components. So with this, it's going to give us a tool for doing kind of a few reusable components. So let's add that. What are you doing? All right, and with that in place, we'll want to go into the JavaScript and inside of our application, we're going to want to grab toggle. All right, great. And all right, so we're going to make a data action this is going to be click toggle. And we're going to put a toggle controller on here. And toggleable onto this guy. And we're going to have that hidden by default. Let's see if we wired that up right. Now, what are you, a button tag? Yeah. What do you need? Button tag, content or options, options. Alright, let's do and that didn't work. Why did you not work? Let's make sure that you are being rebuilt. Ooh, two goals aren't going to work. Alright, now the application starting, it's initialized, connecting. Alright, we're good. Beautiful. Alright, and that all works. And what we'll want to do is also do a data action toggle. What are you? Your toggle close. Toggle close or toggle hide? Maybe neither. Let's see. Let's just take a look at the source. Toggle, 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 hide. Okay. Data action. Oh, it's gonna be click toggle hide. All right. But the problem is that it also clicks on this, so we want to. Oh, what is it? Toggle hide. So stimulus action. Capture. We want to do self. So if I go in here, it closes. If I go over here, it does not close. Great. Now, as I'm doing that, I probably want to go in here, though, and do a little cursor pointer. And in here, I want to do a cursor auto. Envelope close. Nothing. So I'm going to probably make these eventually be links to show just those details. That's kind of what the intention would be there. Okay. think that is probably about where we're going to call it for right now. Well, actually, let's do this. So if I go into show, we now have a title there at the top. So we can get rid of that H1. We can get rid of the tracking toggle between the two. This event's going to be moved up, or sorry, the envelope's going to be moved up, and we'll probably move the plus button up to the right. Yeah, we'll probably have a few options that are moved to a few different places. But that gives us a good starting spot. So let's save that in. So that's adding thing for our component. That's going to be layering. And again, yeah, not sure about having that in there and not moving it out into the layout itself, the application layout. Something that's still considering. That's good, and that's fine. This actually should be using something from the environment or something to say what that is. Let me just see. Can I go let env equal process.env and then console log env. That's what this does. And I can't find it. Okay. Yeah. Any of you feathers on large screen. So what we'll probably end up doing is have it pop out always on the large screen. Yeah. Well, that's actually probably even enough to do. So if we go into, let's say on medium screen. Well, let's do this. So on here, let's do, so you have this as hidden. Let's do small block. That seems like it's too small to be switching. We do this at medium. And that's too small. Large, that doesn't seem too bad. So if we go in here, we can say large is flex. This is going to be absolute. Large static. And large with auto. Alright, so we're here, we do envelopes, we see it. It seems pretty reasonable. That envelopes button is going to be large hidden. All right. All right, let's do another, this final quick pass. We're going to look at the spending events. All right, so right now we've got this as a table row. So what I probably want to do is hide that entire header probably. So that is in the budget spending path. I'm actually going to get this entire table header, and I'm going to make this hidden and large. Make it a row. Okay, so that's good, that's gone. Then we can focus on this. So this is a table row, so I'm going to make this flex, and then large is a table row. I'm going to do, yeah, we're going to do flex. No, I'm actually going to do something different. I'm going to make this grid. And make a grid calls. And I want this to be 1 FR auto. Sweet. Envelopes, this is going to be large table cell. So it's grid calls, large table row. Okay, so this one is going to be envelope name. So large is going to be table cell. And this can be call row. I'm actually not sure how to lay this out right now. I'll have to check the docs. But what I want to do is I want to put this into actually, I wonder if I can do this. Div class flex large content. We're going to make this hidden large block. Make this one hidden large block, and make this hidden large block. We got tithe, charity. Is it content or contents? You know what? In here, let's do this. In here, we're going to do what are we going on here? Grid calls. No. Grid calls one fraction and auto. One FR auto. There we go. And there's a good packing that I need to look at. Grid flow row dense. That's, I think, what I'm looking for. Yeah, there we go. Nice. So there's some fixes that need to happen. So we need to move the, change the order on these. So a tithe comes first, charity underneath. That's 200 beside it, so that's good. But that kind of gets us that working. Let's see if this goes out. Charity tithe weekly. That's almost right. I'm doing something wrong here. But it's mostly there, so that's good. So I'm actually going to do this as is, because I'm out of time. Okay. Let's put that up, push that up, and actually deploys to the test server, and start being able to play with it. All right, so yeah, this really kind of shows with just not too much work, we can start getting the tab bar component at the bottom, the details at the top, being able to easily switch between them, starting to customize how this looks, getting the envelopes on the side, and have very readable code to go with it. All right, that's kind of it for today.